Hi, I'm Elizabeth Spring.
And I'm Claudia Trivelas, and we're beginning our series of helping you to understand some of the more challenging aspects. Today, we're going to speak about Sun Saturn aspects that'll include the conjunction, the square, which sometimes is a challenge internally that you feel, the opposition of Sun and Saturn, which is oftentimes encountered through other people or outside circumstances as an opposition to you. And our goal with this series is to help you understand these aspects and also to offer you some uh, in depth ways that you can work with them so that you can utilize the energy of these
Right,
aspects.
right. That's great, great. Because Saturn has a bad reputation, as you
Yeah.
probably know. When it's strong in your chart, either natally or by transit, it usually means work. Steady, disciplined, boring work. Sometimes people feel it as depression, but Saturn wants you to take the trash out. It wants you to do those things that you have put aside, even if it's for a few hours, whatever it is that needs to be done. So it's associated with hard work, self denial, self discipline, self control, and issues around authority and time. Actually, time is interesting because it's Chronos. So Chronos and Saturn are
Right, connected.
connected and
Mm-hmm.
related. So ever since there's been a change, though, and some of you will know this. Ever since Liz Green came out with her book called Saturn, a New Look at an Old Devil. And I also wrote about it in Saturn Returns, the private papers of a reluctant astrologer, talking about Saturn as the one who really gives great rewards if you are willing to do the work. And these rewards are really better than the easygoing abundance of Jupiter. But what makes the difference is your willingness to put up with the delays, the frustrations,
Patience.
yeah, you have to have the patience. So it tends to deny in the short run, but in the long run, the rewards are very great if you're willing to do the work with this boss, Saturn.
So Saturn is sober. It's very serious.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
but what's interesting about it, some of the Conan O'Brien is has Sun Saturn aspects, so you can rule humor as well. The other thing about Saturn is oftentimes from childhood, a child, especially with Sun Saturn or even Moon Saturn, might feel that it's hard for them to really express themselves well in an outgoing way. They feel
Yes.
self-conscious and they feel they're just not seen or understood for who they are. So they'll work really, really hard to
Mm.
feel accomplished,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is why oftentimes you'll see some Sun Saturn people in positions of authority because they've worked so hard to really prove to themselves that they can feel accomplished.
Right.
And they do accomplish.
Accomplishment and mastery and authority are all
Mm-hmm.
associated with Saturn. And when you have it natally or by transit, also sometimes your fears will come into the picture. So it's good to bring them up to
Right.
consciousness and to hold
Mm-hmm.
the tension of the situation, not to dissipate, not to. It's like a chalice. You want to hold what's going on. You don't want to break this chalice. You want to have the
Well,
alchemical work
right.
happen.
You want to
Yeah.
realize that mistakes are human, and that you
Yes.
don't have to be perfect, and
Right.
really get to the root of any feelings or fears of inadequacy that you may have.
Yeah, you may feel like I can't do it, and Saturn times are times when you are going to be challenged. So it's so important to say, okay, I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm going to take out the trash. I'm going to pay that bill. I'm going to take care. I'm going to go to the dentist, whatever it is. You're going to take care of those things that you may not want to so that you can have this solid foundation and then go for it. Go for it.
And also look at the concept of mastery. See
Mm.
yourself as really mastering a situation, not from the position of insecurity or lack or
Mm.
inadequacy. But
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes a couple of sayings that come to mind are good things come to she who waits is
Mm-hmm.
one in terms
Mm-hmm.
of patience, because Sun Saturn will often require patience, especially in the, well, both in the square and the opposition.
Yeah.
A lot of times in the opposition, you have to keep pushing for people to, there may be obstacles in front of you at times that you have to push through. But the way that you push through is important, so that you're not
Mm.
pushing through with too much
Mm.
force, but really with an
Mm.
understanding that there's a mastery involved. And sometimes it
Mm.
takes a while for things to reach fruition.
Right, right. So often when you're going into a Saturn transit, or if you are born with
Mm-hmm.
a challenging Saturn aspect, there's a little bit of a tendency to come from a place of, as Claudia was saying, either insecurity or a scarcity consciousness. So you want to turn that scarcity consciousness more into a prosperity consciousness. You want to get into the mindset of, I am going to step up to the plate. I can do this. I realize this is a challenge for me, and I'm going to
And
move
also
into
to lighten up, you are
lighten up.
human.
Yes, yes,
So
right.
you are human. People make mistakes. If you can develop a sense of humor, that's half of the battle.
Right, right, right. It's interesting too that ironically, although Sun Saturn will often take itself quite seriously, comedians often
I know, it's amazing. There's a
Like Lucille
yes,
Ball.
yes.
She has a strong Sun Saturn contact in her
Uh-huh.
chart, and uh, so what do comedians do though? They often put on a bit of a persona, a mask. They
Mhm.
step into a role. They need to have good timing for what they do, and they use their persona. They use this mastery to break through and
And there's
move
another
forward.
saying too. So you may learn things the hard way, but you won't forget in a hurry.
Ah, that's good.
So
That's
I
good.
often like, especially, even with transits, the image of Saturn is that when, it's like taking substance and compressing it, which is
Mm.
similar to taking, what happens if you compress coal and keep or compress carbon, you end up with a diamond.
Ah, yes, yes. Saturn is contractive. We're saying
Yes.
Jupiter expansive,
Mm-hmm.
Saturn contractive. But that doesn't mean, again, bad. That doesn't mean negative.
No, it's like you're a diamond in the
A
rough.
diamond in the rough, and you're focusing.
And to feel that,
Right,
feel that part of you, you're getting to that diamond,
right, right.
it's sort of compressing out the rough edges.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to you working on your Saturn transits or understanding Saturn in your chart. Is there anything else you wanted to
Well, I wanted
say,
to say
Claudia?
there's a few people with Saturn Sun aspects.
Oh,
So
right.
with a
Okay.
conjunction, it's
Mm-hmm.
Robert Duvall, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm-hmm.
Square is Oprah,
Ah, okay. That's an
Salvatore.
internal. The
Yeah.
square is internal.
Hmm. And look how she's used
Use
her,
that beautifully.
as a
Yeah.
steadfastness and
Yes.
responsibility.
Steadfastness. Great word for Saturn.
Mm-hmm. Salvador Dali,
Mm-hmm.
who pushed through with his own way of doing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And opposition, Charlie Sheen is an example. And you had mentioned Lucille Ball.
Right. Right. Right.
Who's a very good example
Yeah.
of a
Yeah.
Sun Saturn comedian.
Okay, well, that's a little bit about Saturn for today, and I am Elizabeth Spring at elizabethspring.com if you're interested in having a reading or learning more about Saturn. I also have the book, The Saturn Returns, um, The Private Papers of a Reluctant Astrologer. And this is my partner, Claudia.
My name's Claudia Trivelas, and you can reach me at discoveryourimprint.com, and we'll help you to look at your Sun Saturn aspects and when it's being triggered,
Yeah.
and how to really empower yourself with a deep understanding of what that means.
Hey, sounds good. Bye for
Okay,
now.
bye bye.